Credit reports is a collection of your information sent by data furnishing companies to the consumer reporting agency. What it does is it computes the most three important digits in your life other than a Tesla 369 did. Your credit report enables lenders to know who to lend to and who not to lend to based on the history within your credit report. Whether your score is too low, whether you have too many inquiries, whether you have too many negative items, whatever the case may be, you will be approved or denied by your credit report. So how do you read your credit report? Let's go to the screen so I can break this down for you. There are 5 sections of your credit report you need to understand, so that way you can understand how to dispute when it comes to disputing with the consumer reporting agencies. So once you understand these 5 areas inside of your credit report, it'll make you more efficient when it comes to writing letters. So let's jump on the screen.
So here's a copy of your credit report. For you to understand your credit report, there are 5 key areas that make up your credit report. The first one is your personal information. The second is your credit score. Third is your summary of all your accounts. The fourth is your account history. And the last one is all your inquiries, your hard and soft inquiry. The first section of your credit report will be your personal information. You would want your personal information to be accurate. So how you make your personal information accurate is you want to make sure your name, if you're using first name, last name, or first name, middle initial, if you're using first name, middle initial, and last name, make sure all your applications you use first name, middle initial, and last name. If you don't use a middle initial, just make sure you use first and last name on all the applications that you use, so that way when they list your name is always listed the same. It's not better known as or have so many different variations of your name. The next one here is also known as this. You will want that blank because your name is already there. You're not known as anything but your name, first name, last name, or first name, middle initial, or middle name, and then last name. Next, you will want your date of birth. Of course, you want that updated. Your addresses, what you will want to have is your most current addresses. So if you have multiple addresses down here or anything that's over 2 years, you will want to get those removed. Link in my description if you want to get a template to update your personal information. So you want to have one address was at another address that's less than 2 years. So it's okay to have those 2 addresses, but typically you just want to have one address because those old addresses may be attached to credit cards or potentially negative items that's damaging your credit. So that's a good strategy to update all of your information. So if you have an employer, just the one employer, they don't need no previous employer, just whomever you're working for currently, which is now, that's what you would want to have listed here. So everything cut and dry, plain and simple: name, date of birth, current address, employer. Link in the description if you want to get your template to update your addresses with all 3 bureaus. The next section we have is your credit score. Now here you will see different fluctuations of scores, only because certain creditors, they don't report to all 3 bureaus. They may just report to TransUnion, they may just report to Experian, Equifax, they may just report to 2 or all 3. So they all don't get all of the information that you actually have. So from all your credit cards, loans, and things like that, they may not all report to all of the credit bureaus. However, if they do not report to your credit bureaus, you can do your due diligence and add it to your report. As long as you have good history, you can add good accounts to any of your credit reports that you're trying to build. This is your credit score. They give you your 3 scores and what you have with these different bureaus, and it'll also explain what your risk factors are. It'll give you a brief explanation of what's damaging your credit, the things that's too high on your credit, not ways to improve it, but just the factors that are killing your credit score and what's killing your credit. Next, we have the summary of accounts. So this is going to list all of your total accounts. You want to make sure that is actually correct. Like I said, not everyone report to all 3 of the bureaus, so you're going to have different accounts for each one. Hence the reason why you have different credit scores for different credit bureaus, because the balances is different, the debt to income ratio is different. There's a lot of different factors that take into place of your credit score. So when you have accounts like this or like this or like this, you're going to have different scores because you're going to have different balances and things like that. So what this is telling me is I have 30 total accounts, there's 11 open accounts, there's 19 closed accounts, there's 1 derogatory accounts, there are no collections. These are the balances, I guess, for all the accounts. Payments that's being made monthly, all of the accounts total up what that monthly payment look like. And Experian the same thing with less information. Equifax the same thing with less information. And now we have our account history. So this would be the breakdown of those 30 accounts for each one of the consumer reporting agencies. So for TransUnion, here are some of the accounts. These accounts are reporting revolving, business credit card, charge account, business line, personally guaranteed. So one way to dispute this, if everything is okay, there's no reason to dispute it. You can update your credit history. You can update your credit report. Definitely you can update it. When you dispute it, you don't need to have items deleted or items removed. What you can do, if there's something that's damaging your credit and it provides history, you can have it updated. You can have the right account type, the right bureau code, the right status, the right payment, the right date that it was open, the right balance. All of these things you can correct so that way it reports correctly on your credit report. So here the account type is all revolving. On my details, TransUnion is considering this a business credit card. Experian is calling it a charge account. Equifax is calling it a business line personal guarantee, which this is telling me that this is some type of business card that's on someone's personal credit. So you could actually have this removed off the account because this is tied to a business and not the individual, even though there's a personal line guarantee until this guarantee is in effect, and there's no reason for this to be reporting on the account. So let's just take a look at some of the account history so we could go through how this would look and how you would do some disputes if you need to make some disputes for any accounts that are negative or reporting incorrectly. Overall, this report is not bad. It's just a lot of high balances on the credit cards and whatnot. So you could bring those balances down. This credit report or this credit score would actually go up on this sample customer. Looking at all of these items, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, they're all reporting okay. If they're not reporting, then they just didn't report that money. It could be many reasons why they didn't report that money. Everything is a human operation, so just think of it like that. So everything is okay on these accounts. Okay on these accounts. Everything is pretty much okay. There could be some things you could dispute, like let's say if your credit limit was higher, you could send a letter and tell them that credit limit is incorrect or inaccurate and figure that out with the credit company. But usually if your high credit is incorrect, you could dispute that. If your credit limit is incorrect, you could dispute that. If your last date reported is incorrect, you could dispute that. If the account detail is incorrect, you could dispute that. If your monthly payment is incorrect, you could dispute that. See here they have different monthly payments. You could dispute that just to correct the information, not to delete the item. We want to correct the information. Everything needs to be reporting correctly as far as the FCRA. So if it's not reporting correctly, the item either needs to be deleted, removed, or updated. So another thing you want to think about with your credit history is a credit mix. So you want to have a mix of credit cards, auto loans. If you have a mortgage is great. Some finance agreements, maybe some furniture agreement. You want to have a mix of credit over a period of time, more than 2 years. Anything over 5 years is great. Anything over 2 years breaks you out that minimum threshold. So you want to have a good credit mix in a long credit history and a responsible credit history. So that way when you're going to get financing, credit cards, large amounts of loans, they won't have an issue with giving it to you because they're going to look at your credit and see that you keep your balances low, which in turn helps your utilization stay at less than 30%. You have high credit limits, so that way they look at you and you're able to manage a large amount of money and then maintain that money, so they see that you're not credit hungry, so they would extend more money to you. And the last thing we have here are our inquiries. Here, for any loan, credit card, anything that report that you're filling out, any application you're filling out trying to get extend credit or loan, mortgage, anything like that, they're going to be reporting that inquiry. It's going to be either a hard inquiry or a soft inquiry. A hard inquiry is when a creditor looks at the full credit report of the consumer that's actually trying to get this credit extended to him or her. So they pull your full report so they can see all of the items that is on your report. They're looking at all the details. They're looking at your history, how long you had credit, how you maintain your balances, the amount of inquiries you have. Is a good rule of thumb to have no more than 6 inquiries, and that's total across all 3, not 6 with Equifax, 6 with Experian, 6 with TransUnion. What I mean is 2, 2, and 2. So you want to have less than 3 inquiries per credit bureau if you can. If not, you need to start disputing these items. You can call them up directly and dispute inquiries. Also, link in the description if you want to template a letter. But you could definitely call up Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Speak to the fraud department and just tell them straight up, I don't know what these inquiries are. They go through a series of questions and you get those items removed right away. So that is a breakdown of a credit report, not exactly how you would fully dispute any items that are negative. I will save that for another video, but for you to understand the sections and the things that how you need to maintain and have those sections looking, things like the personal history, you have to remember, however you write your name on these applications, you need to consistently do that. First name, last name, or first name, middle initial, last name, or first name, middle name, last name. However you do it needs to remain consistent. You keep your current address, any address you had over 2 years. Anything less than that you want to dispute, get them removed, date of birth, and also you want to have one employer. Once you do that, then it'll be easier to dispute those potentially negative items that could be tied to those other old addresses. So if you need any letters, link in the bio. Taurus in general, appreciate you. Peace.